evening, 5th grade. Tonight we are going to learn about creating ratios and how they are so easy and going to be so much fun. You're going to be so excited about ratios by the time this video is finished. Ratios compare two different amounts or numbers, and we're going to work on ratios to show you that they are just like fractions, and we've worked with fractions and we understand fractions. So ratios, if you keep in mind that it's a fraction that's comparing two numbers, all of this will make so much more sense and be so easy to work with, and you'll be ratio experts just as much as you're a fraction expert. With homework, you brought home a chart that we are going to use to help us understand ratios, and we're going to fill this in as we go. So as you're watching, you may want to hit pause to fill in some of these values, and we will check these together tomorrow in class to make sure that you have gotten all of your data in the chart in the right. Now, ratio compares two amounts. So we're going to start with a problem where there are 5 girls in a class for every 2 boys. And I have it illustrated on our board with some Post-it notes. So there's 5 girls in pink to 2 boys in blue. Now if we think of this as a fraction, it would be 5 over 2. It's an improper fraction, but that's okay. Ratios don't always have to be in proper form. Now, as you can see, we had our 5 over 2. So if I think of this as a chart, like those input-output tables that we worked on earlier this year, I have 5 over 2, but now I have 15. We have 5 over 2, and on this other side, we now have 15. So, makes us wonder, how can we find this missing number? Well, think about 5 to 15. Think of all those fact families. What can you multiply a 5 by to give 15? Let's see. Oh, would that be 3? And we always say in math, things are fair. So if I multiply the 5 by a 3, let's multiply 2 times 3. And what would that be? Did you get 6? Well, if you did, you got it right, and you just found your first equivalent fraction. Now that we've visually seen our ratio, let's go to our homework sheet and transfer our numbers. We know that we have a ratio of 5 girls for 2 boys. Then if we had 15 girls, we had to think, how do we go from 5 to 15? And we know we times it by 3. So 5 times 3 gives us 15, and 2 times 3 gives us 6, just like equivalent fractions. So now that we know finding equivalent ratios is just the same as finding equivalent fractions, let's try another problem. If I have 10 boys, can you think about what we just did and find out how many girls would be in the class if I have 10 boys? Hit pause and see if you can fill in those 2 blocks for me. So now that you've solved the next ratio, see if you can find 2 more equivalent ratios using what we just discussed and fill in your chart. Now that we've solved our first example, let's try transferring what we've learned to a second example. We all love crayons, so I have an example dealing with the Crayola factory. So let's say that at the plant, they can make crayons at a rate of 240 crayons in 4 minutes. So let's fill in crayons. And they make 240. And our time would be 4 minutes. Now that's an awful big number to have to work with. So as I'm using my divisibility rules, I say, they're both even numbers, and oh wait, I can divide by something bigger than 2. Let's reduce this, because we think of these as fractions. So if I reduce by 4, 240 reduces to 60, and 4 will reduce down to 1. Now, I like math. I think I like working with those numbers a little bit better than 240 over 4. So let's find out, how many crayons could they make in 12 minutes? So let's think. 1 times what will give me 12? So take a moment, fill in your factor, and then take that same factor and multiply it by 60 to find out exactly how many crayons they can make in 12 minutes. Are these the values that you found? If so, you did a fabulous job, and I'm proud of you. Now let's try another example. If they can make 1,800 crayons, how long would that take? Take a moment, find your factor, and then find your value. Now hit pause, fill in your values, and see if you can find 2 more equivalent ratios. Bring those to class tomorrow, and we'll have even more fun with ratios in class.